Welcome to Crown Light Studio Business Forum. Each forum, we highlight businesses or people in our community that are making a vital difference or providing a service in the lives of its citizens. Today, we are joined by Chief of Police Mark Renkens with the City of Palm Bay. Hello, Chief.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Feeling comfortable?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about you, give me some background. How did you become chief? When? How long have you been with the department?
Well, I grew up in Long Island, New York. I went to the Marine Corps right out of high school.
Ooh, raw.
Still with my high school sweetheart. We're still married today. When I got out of the Marine Corps, she had moved from Long Island to Palm Bay. That's how I ended up in Palm Bay. Knew I wanted to get in law enforcement. I went to the police academy in 1989. I rose through the ranks, and 2 years ago I became the chief of police for Palm Bay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
So before you came on, we were talking a little bit about the community and its relations with the police. Can you give us a little bit more background as to how you are bridging the gap with
Sure.
the Palm Bay residents and the community on a whole?
Absolutely. When I took over as the chief, it was in January of 2015, I knew that the most important thing for the police department was our community relations. We cannot be effective, we can't be efficient without our community support, their trust, and a mutual respect between both the community and the police. One of the first things I did was change our mission statement. Now, our mission statement was about a paragraph long, and when I walked around the department and asked people what our mission is, beyond protect and serve, obviously, they couldn't recite it. They generally knew what their mission was, but they didn't know it clearly. So through a lot of input from the officers themselves and the community, our mission is now connect, serve, and impact. Connect being the most important aspect of our mission, which is why I'm glad to be here today speaking with you to get our message out there that it is important to us to build individual relationships, because I think that's the best, although it's the most exhaustive way, if you will, to build relationships, it's the most effective way. And it's what we need to do. We have to, through individual relationships, build mutual trust and respect. And I think we've made a lot of headway in the past 2 years there. But also, obviously, it's important to serve. We have to put others before ourselves. And I want officers in our department who are here for the right reasons, not because they get to carry a gun or drive a car fast or anything like that. I want them here for the right reasons. And serve and putting others before yourself is certainly a good reason. Impact is just that. We want to make a positive difference, a positive impact on an individual's life if we can, each and every day, through whatever that may be. It may be on a traffic stop where you actually receive a citation, but in the end the person was treated with dignity and respect and professionalism, and that's what I mean by impact. Hopefully that person will leave that traffic stop and share their experience with other people and say, hey, although I got a ticket, the officer treated me right, and they were very professional, and I had a good experience.
So reiterate for me, what is the mission?
Connect, serve, and impact.
Connect, serve, and impact.
Correct.
Okay, and when you connect, you're connecting with businesses, community leaders?
We're connecting with anybody. We're connecting with businesses, civic leaders, community leaders, and any resident or business owner, anybody. And it can happen in a forum like this where we're reaching out to masses. It can happen at an HOA meeting, it can happen at a hospital or a business meeting, or it happens on individual calls for service or traffic stops, so it can happen anywhere.
That is true, especially with the traffic stops. We need to make sure that people are actually being served, protected, connected, being impacted by what the police are doing for the community. Florida is the fifth largest state growing in the nation, and Palm Bay is the largest city in Brevard County. With all of that growth, how does the city maintain the quality of life that we enjoy?
The city of Palm Bay has grown substantially since I've been here. We are now over 100 square miles, and we have 112,000 people living in Palm Bay. And obviously the population goes up during the day when you have people actually coming into work here as well. Our police department and our other departments, Public Works, Parks and Recreation, Utilities, have pretty much remained the same size. So we had to become experts in doing more with less. And I think we do it very well. One of the other things that I had to look at when I took over as the chief was our operations. Are we doing things efficiently, and are we doing things effectively? One of the things we did in that arena was we added a second crime analyst. And why that is so important is we can have officers out there patrolling randomly and hoping to bump into crime. That's very ineffective, and it's not very efficient. Although sometimes random patrols are necessary for traffic enforcement and things like that, if we can direct our resources based on good intelligence, it's much more efficient. And that's what we do. Our crime analysts basically look at locations, they look at methods of operation, they look at individuals, and they see if there's any kind of a pattern, and then we target those problems with our resources accordingly.
You used the word target. You target your resources.
We use our resources effectively by targeting a problem person, a problem location, or a method of operation such as, let's say we have 5 burglaries and all of them, the rear door was kicked in. More than likely it's the same person. So that's what I mean by that.
Okay, that's very interesting to know. I am a resident of Palm Bay, and it's been fairly quiet. I did not know that we've escalated or have grown to 112, you say?
112. We're just under. It's like 111.9, something like
and
that.
so the city is growing, but the police force is still at the same steady rate. The Public Works is still at the same steady rate.
Correct.
What about employment within the city?
Well, in regards to the number of employees, actually they've gone down. Although we're trying to address it, and it's really of nobody's fault, the reason why it's gone down and the reason why we're having a little bit of a hard time keeping up is because of the recession. The recession hit Palm Bay very hard. And we need resources in the police department like cars, patrol cars. We have some patrol cars nearing 200,000 miles now, but that's out of necessity. It was in lieu of laying people off. So as long as we could keep those cars running, and keep our IT infrastructure working, and keep our facilities to some degree, functioning, then we wouldn't have to lay people off. And that's the last thing we wanted to do. But we did lose positions. At one point, we were at 166 police officers, and we're down to 160. However, the council and the city manager are well aware of the issue, and they're doing the best they can to address it. But they have limited funds. And they have to prioritize things. They have to prioritize all the needs of not only the police department, but the fire department and all the other divisions as well.
Okay. I remember when I was moving here and I came in, there's a big sign that says, Palm Bay, the perfect place to grow?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, exactly. How does that, if you were to tell the community out there, or for someone who is interested in moving into the city of Palm Bay, what does it mean by the perfect place to grow?
Well, Palm Bay has a lot of potential. In comparison to any other city in Brevard County, we're not even half full as far as the amount of land mass we have and population-wise. Our population could actually go to 400,000 to 500,000 people in Palm Bay, and we're only at 112 now. So there's all kinds of potential. The interchange is going in. There's going to be a third Palm Bay exit. We already have 2. We have one at Palm Bay Road, one at Malabar. There's going to be a third at Mico Road. Developers are already in place to build up that area. Based on what I know, it's going to be similar, not exactly, but similar to what Vieira is now. And that's what we need. That's what Palm Bay needs in order to grow is commercial and industry tax base. Residential tax base is very difficult to run a city on. For instance, here's an example. Lakeland has a smaller population. Land-wise, they're smaller than Palm Bay, and they have 240 police officers. However, they have a city budget approaching $500 million. Our entire city budget is about $166 million. So it's much less than what they have. Why? Because they're primarily commercial and industrial. We're primarily residential.
Residential. And
So-
what do you foresee for Palm Bay when it becomes commercial, and how will that impact the responsibilities and the duties of the police department?
Well, they're going to expand, obviously. So we as a police department need to grow with the community because it starts affecting things like response times. You call the police, and if it's a non-priority call, let's say, for instance, somebody went into your vehicle and stole some change and a cell phone out of your car, and you call the police, you're going to expect a reasonable response time. But it's all based on priority, on what we're doing at the time and how many officers are available. So if it's a busy day, you may wait upwards of 2 to 3 hours before we get there, because there's other calls that are a priority in which people are either hurt, injured, or something is happening in progress, and we can't get to your call until those things are resolved. And if the community grows and the police department does not, you're just going to see that widen. You become frustrated. You expect a level of service, and if you're not getting it, you're going to make it known to either me, the city manager, or the city council.
And with that, what would your police department do to bridge that and to keep everyone safe and to keep everyone saying that they're not frustrated? Do you have programs that involve the police officers reaching out to the community, anything of that sort?
Well, through venues such as this, we try to get the message out there, and we do. I can assure you this: if somebody calls the police department and they're waiting on an officer to respond, I assure you it's not because we're sitting under an oak tree reading a magazine. And there's a reason for that. Although sometimes it doesn't matter. You're still going to be frustrated. You're still going to be watching your wristwatch saying, where are they? And why is it taking so long? So we try to get there as soon as we possibly can. But as the city grows, if the police department doesn't grow, then those times are going to naturally widen, and we don't want that. And plus, when it comes to critical incidents, and it's a life or death situation, obviously we need to get there ASAP. And the bigger the city is, you may have more of those incidents going on simultaneously. So if there's not enough officers to go around, we may need to call Melbourne for help or Brevard County Sheriff's Office for help. We don't want to go there, but we certainly have that as a backup if we need it.
Okay, so there is a part where you can go outside of your jurisdiction to get assistance. Melbourne,
yes,
West Melbourne,
correct,
Indian Atlantic.
Yep. And it doesn't happen very often, but every now and then it happens where we ask for their help and they ask for ours.
That's good to know that you can actually work with other jurisdictions.
We get along
outside
great.
of Palm Bay.
We really do.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I have one question for you though. Is the city of Palm Bay has a police athletic league?
No, we had a police athletic league, and again, I hate to keep referring to the recession, but unfortunately during the recession we had to make some drastic cuts in lieu of layoffs. The police athletic league budget was almost $250,000 a year, and although it's a great program in comparison to needs versus wants, it was more of a want than a need, and unfortunately we had to let it go.
Is there any thought in the future of maybe?
Well, some of the programs that we offered in PAL are actually still in Palm Bay, but they're handled through our Parks and Recreation Department. We have a basketball league that they did, and so those programs, if you get with our Parks and Recreation Division, are still available.
Okay. So where would you direct anyone in the community to get more information about the police department in the city of Palm Bay and how it serves its citizens?
The best way is to go to the website and check that out, and you can always reach out to me. I'll be glad to meet with either an individual or a group to discuss it, or we have other officers, we have neighborhood policing officers who will go to forums and speak, or homeowners associations, or business meetings, or if there's a way we can get our message out, we will take that opportunity and get our message out.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you.
You're welcome. We want to thank you for joining us today,
Sure.
and we wish you well as you and your department continue to serve the citizens of Palm Bay.